And now for something completely different. In the name of art, in the name of joy, in the name of astrology, in the name of love, and in the name of fun, and in the name of not trying to be pretentious at all, honest, I give you the 2024 version of the rose. So, picture this. It's midwinter. It's winter solstice wherever you are in the world. And it's a week or two after winter solstice. And the sun is just starting to get higher in the sky. The cold is still here. But the days are getting longer by 15, 20 seconds a day, and it's increasing each day. And the sun is just beginning to get higher. And the sun's rays are striking the earth, and the very first buds, the very first daffodils, the first snowdrops are beginning to come out. And it is the start of the new year. And the sun's rays hit the ground, and they penetrate into the ground, not strongly at all. It's still winter. But they go through the first half inch, the first inch of all the verdigris, of all the dirt, of all the dead leaves and animals. And they penetrate an inch or so into the earth. And they find that seed that's been hidden over the winter. And they slowly warm it up. And the sun's rays gradually warm this seed up until eventually, boom, it cracks open. And a wonderful little shoot comes out. And immediately that shoot turns south and burrows into the ground and tries to root itself. And one or two more shoots come out and goes down into the ground. And they find a little dead branch or a little bit of earth to wrap themselves around and start the process of drawing sustenance from the earth. That crack of the seed, the first shoot coming out, that is the sun, the core, the soul, the heart. Those shoots, those little white shoots, they grab hold of the bits of earth and they draw nurturing. They draw water and sustenance and warmth from the earth and food. And then one or two shoots come out and start going up. And one shoot goes north. And it breaks free of the earth. And it comes up above the ground and immediately it turns from white into green. Chlorophyll starts filling the shoot. And all of a sudden, the first signs of growth come from above the earth. This is the moon, the fertility, the development, the birth into childhood, if you like. And then, as the end of winter approaches and the spring develops, that shoot goes wild. All of a sudden, few shrubs around the base and then whoosh, up comes the stalk so fast, inches, centimetres in a day. And this is Mercury, movement, speed, growth, acceleration. And then as we get into the spring, so the rapid growth slows down. But the foliage begins to develop. The leaves begin to flourish and grow, drawing in heat and light from the sun. And a bulb forms at the top of the plant. And it starts to grow. And of course it's still got green leaves around it, but as it approaches the point of maximum fertility, so that bulb, the green leaves pierce at the very top, and you just see a thin line of yellow or red. And this is Venus, tempting, alluring, exotic, a little bit erotic. And then, all of a sudden, the leaves peel back, the green peels back, and the rose suddenly bursts into flower. And this is Mars, vibrant, dynamic, projective, assertive, powerful, power-filled, with an element of sexuality about it. It is the rose in its power. And then after a month or so, the rose continues to grow, and all of a sudden it gets bigger and bigger, and the petals get bigger, and they begin to sort of push out to the side and even begin to droop a little bit. And this is Jupiter, the expansion and the growth and the over the top and the overreaching and the overstretching. By now it's the middle of summer, approaching the end of summer. It's all getting a little bit too large. And then the winds come, and Saturn arrives and sweeps the petals away. And overnight, most of the petals just disappear, leaving the stem, the stalk, the bud, a few leaves, a few petals. At which point the rose considers its options. It can no longer be as vibrant as it once was. It's lost its youth. It's approaching the other stages of life. And it starts to realise how much damage has been done, how it's wounded, and how it can only really go in one direction now to preserve itself. So this is Chiron, accepting its wounds, loving one's wounds, and using them to propagate into the future. Then the storms, the autumn storms, the fall storms come, and suddenly there's a lightning crash or a sudden burst of wind or a tree falls, and the rose stalk snaps. And from hero to zero, the stalk is suddenly lying on the ground. All the petals have gone, the leaves are withering. To all intents and purposes, it's dead. And this is Uranus, the change bringer. And then it's the onset of winter again. And the dead leaves fall on top of the rose, and the stalk becomes damp, and it dissolves, and it just falls to pieces. The mildew, the mould grows, and it just slips away, and gradually the earth consumes it, and all the leaves fall on top of it, and it gradually dissolves into nothingness. Classic Neptunian influence. And then it's winter. And all the dead leaves fall on top of the last remaining bud. And the earth builds up around it. And the dead animals and the dead insects. And slowly the bud falls down deep into the earth. It goes into the underworld. It is swallowed and consumed and absorbed by the dark. And this is Pluto. And then it's winter solstice. And the sun starts getting higher again. And the first rays of the sun strike the earth. And the whole story begins again. Life is cyclical. And the journey of a rose in many ways is a metaphor for our life. The rose is also a symbol of one of the very few heroes I don't have. A man who lived a long time ago called Paracelsus. And there's a story there, and that will be told over the coming period of time. In the meantime, I give you the rose.